everybody. Welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 136. And as the Kane world turns was kind of how we were going to title this episode, maybe. I don't know. But we're almost like tired of talking about it now, but it seems to be the topic that's always on everyone's minds and the thing that's always brought up. And so obviously we'll be chatting a little bit about that today, along with some of the games that had happened. So I don't know if you want to just dive right in.
Let's do it. I mean, I don't want to, but let's... No, just the Kane thing's kind of getting drawn out.
Yeah.
But it's big news because we weren't sure if he was going to report to the Barracuda, and he did, and he had a press conference about it. Mm-hmm. So he sat there in front of the gauntlet for 15 minutes, I think it was, the whole thing.
Yep.
And answered everyone's questions. So, yeah. So anyway, we took some clips from that. If we want to dive into that right now. We put together some clips from it, and here's some of the questions. The first quarter of it was, the question was kind of, is the goal to come back on the Sharks or just to play in the NHL? And then the second part, or the last half, is does the off-ice distractions or the off-ice stuff distract you from playing? And so here are his answers, and it's not really direct answers per usual.
I'm under contract with the Sharks. They've sent me down. I have shown up and will continue to show up. And I look forward to whatever is to come here in the next week or so. I think we have a good plan in place. I'm not going to get into that too much. But I'm looking forward to it. And I get it. You know, certain media, they like to make it about the juicy stuff that is always alleged or whatever it may be, but there's never the same reporting with the same conviction about facts. So, you know, some of that stuff kind of gets taken out of context and the narrative gets skewed and details get lost. So, you know, that can be frustrating. I think anybody in that position can understand that. But, you know, like I said, it's part of the process. It's part of the job I do. So I don't let it bother me or affect me. Yeah, I mean, I had my best season last year, right? So I've been dealing with a lot of things throughout my career, and I've been able to stay focused on the ice. I think, you know, I pride myself in bringing something to each and every game. Obviously, you're not going to score every game, but bringing something positive to the team to give ourselves the best chance to win, and I'll continue to do that.
Yeah, so, I mean, not really direct answers per se, but there was another quote earlier. He said something about, we have something coming, like him and his agent are working on something. And I don't know
plan in place.
And I don't know if we noted this last week, but he had switched agents too.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a new agent. I don't know.
Dan Milstein?
Yeah, I guess we did talk about it because he had tweeted something out last week. Yeah. So I think they have something going on. Something's up his sleeve. They're just going to play it close to their heart. He did not play in that game, right?
No.
It was on Friday.
Abbotsford, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that's because he just wasn't ready yet. Like, he might not have been in shape to play.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, Abbotsford is
it's in Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
He's not traveling to Canada because of the whole custody and the COVID protocols type stuff. He's not traveling, as far as I understand. That was one of the things that he had brought up in court, was he has no plans to do that.
So he's only playing the home games.
That might
basically
be part of the plan that's in place for him. Is, you know, I've got my daughter. I'm not going to travel outside of the country or anything like that. You know, maybe that was one of those things that helped him get custody.
Okay.
But that might be part of the plan. Now, as far as the plan and what I think is the plan for him, I think the plan comes down to him basically shopping himself and being ready to go somewhere other than with the Sharks. That is the plan, I think.
Right.
That's the entire plan. The plan isn't to play really well with the Barracuda and get a call up to the San Jose Sharks. The plan is to show that you are still an NHL caliber player, that you can get along with a locker room, right? And then go from there. I think that is the plan, and it's something that he's looking forward to because it gets him out of the AHL and back to playing NHL hockey.
It's marketing. He's got to market himself to other teams, which is what he's doing right
now.
I
like something you said before the show started. You said every team needs a guy who's a little bit selfish, and you gave some good reasons as to why. And I think this kind of maybe it kind of tails into that. Like he's kind of that little bit of a selfish player. He's thinking about himself, but that's an okay thing. Do you want to kind of describe what you were talking about
Sure.
to help them understand what you mean by that.
Yeah, I mean, every Sharks fan is probably going to be like, oh, I know what you're talking about, because how many times have we seen pass, and then the puck leaves the zone on a power play, right? Yeah. You kind of need that trigger person, the one who's going to shoot the puck almost every time. That's kind of who Kane is. He's kind of, in a way, a selfish player in a good way, and I mean that in a good way, because you need one of those guys, like when the game's on the line and you want to pass the puck to somebody who's going to shoot it and score. That's who you're going to do it to. Mm-hmm. Now you can't have a full team of those guys. That just wouldn't work. So, but right now the Sharks don't quite have that person. I would say maybe Tomas Hertl, but even then, I think he's going to pass if he sees a good pass open instead of trying to shoot and be a little more selfish. So, being a selfish player is good at times, and to me, he's kind of that cocky, goal-scoring, almost like cowboy type player, which, again, I think every team needs 1 to 2 of those kinds of players. So I think he's definitely marketable. I think some teams are going to take a chance on him. I still am in the same boat that I don't think the Sharks are going to play him at all. No. And no matter where they are in the standings, either low or high, they're not going to add him to the lineup.
Here's a question for you: Are the Barracuda still going to play him, or does he get dealt before that even happens?
Well, we had some questions, I think, on Twitter from some people. Was it Twitter? I think, and I responded to it because people were like, "Well, why didn't somebody claim him on waivers? They could have got him not for free, I guess, but." I mean, then they have the full salary, right?
Right.
If they take him on waivers, it's the full $7 million. The Sharks are most likely going to be retaining some salary. And then the other thing, what my retort was why would somebody trade now for him when you don't know if he can still play?
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't played since, when did the season end? May?
Well, and I think that's the plan. That's part of the plan, is to see, can he still play? And he wants to go and prove that he can still play. Can he still mesh with the locker room?
Right.
He wants to show that he could be a good teammate in the locker room. So,
but more of the physicality of he could get hurt. Like right now, he's basically doing rehab or conditioning stint and rehab. Not rehab. That's not quite the right word. Conditioning to get into game shape. And he said it in his press conference. I don't think I put the clip in there, but he's like, there's only so much you can do in practice. You're not going to get in game shape without playing in any games. Right. So he wants to get into games and show that he can do it. Why would a team trade for that before that happened when? Now they don't have any risk. The Sharks have all the risk because they don't want him to get hurt. They want him to play and get better. So if you traded for him beforehand and then you put him in your minors so that he can get a conditioning stint and then he gets hurt, now you're out of luck.
Right.
So there's no reason for a team to trade for him now. They're going to wait probably a week or two, which he mentioned, I think, in that clip that I put. We have something coming in the next week or two, or we'll see what comes in the next week or two. So I don't think this is going to prolong itself through the entire season. I think it's going to be sooner than later. Sooner as in before the end of the year, maybe. Yeah. But there's also the trade freeze during Christmas time.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put a deadline of New Year's. Maybe like a little after, maybe in January or so. I don't think it's going to go through to the trade deadline.
Sure.
How about that?
Sure. Okay, fair enough. So, what else? Okay, so there's some of the things that you wanted to address with his answers. Him talking about, we kind of already said that he's saying he's got a plan and everything else, but the off-ice distractions, the off-ice stuff that's going on, would that be a distraction? The way he responded, were you surprised at all about how he responded to that?
No, he basically, kind of what he said was, I've always had these distractions and I've played great. I declared bankruptcy a week before the season started last year, and I had the best season I've ever had. Like, how would any of these things distract him from playing? Like, he's very good at separating his I guess, work and life.
I'll tell you, he's making a good case. He's making a good case.
I still don't want him on the team.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying,
There's a lot of commenters in here that I think want him back on the team.
You know what? Let's go ahead and read some of those comments off that are pertaining to this. Why not?
Well, now I got to find him. He put me on the spot.
Okay, so I don't think he's coming back to the Sharks at all. I don't think that's ever in the plan here. But I think another team is going to look at this and say, you know what, we have a strong enough locker room. We can get him back on the straight and narrow to kind of be a good member in that locker room again. It's one of those things that we were warned. The Sharks were warned by Winnipeg fans, by Buffalo fans.
Yeah, they're all laughing.
And here are the Sharks fans now, which it was maybe Pittsburgh was in the running or something for Kane, and they're going, be careful, that kind of thing. So, you just kind of wonder is if a team like Pittsburgh, right? They have a very strong locker room with Crosby and Malkin and everybody else. They're not going to take any of his stuff. So, it's like, do they feel that the locker room is strong enough, or are we going to be the ones now going, no, you probably should have?
Are you throwing out some trade rumors here?
No, I'm not throwing out any trade rumors. I'm actually just talking about trade rumors that were already out there. So this is one of those things. Pittsburgh was supposedly one of the teams that was rumored to be interested in Kane. So
Right.
along with the Hurricanes. So
all right. So where is it? I just saw it.
In order?
In order? Yeah, I'm going from the top, I guess. Where is it? Did it get deleted? It said.
tell you what, Super Producer Jason, just put one up. We'll read it off the screen. There you go.
No, I saw one before that, but okay. Kane isn't in game shape yet. Give him a few practices, and then he'll be ready to play in an AHL game. The one I was looking for was...
Kane is definitely planning to move to another team.
Anthony Sanchez said, the Sharks could use another top six forward to help balance out the lineup. I just wonder how they could find a top six forward quickly.
Where's that?
At the top. Yeah, see, I was trying to find it. I knew I read it earlier.
Okay, hold on. Before you read more, I want to ask you guys about Jake DeBrusk. I want to ask you guys about him.
Okay.
Now, it's loosely related, I think, in that you're just talking about a guy that coming in to maybe help out with some Sharks scoring and whatnot. This is the type of player I think that Bob Bugner would like. He's one of those rougher type of players that likes to get into the net and be a physical force.
Where did that come from? Is that a rumor?
Jake DeBrusk?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, the Bruins want to move DeBrusk.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Right.
he's having a hard time right now. This is something that could be a mutually beneficial change of scenery type of thing. Regardless of whether or not Kane is involved in that, I'm just saying that was something that was brought up about being able to bring a player in who is maybe having a hard time and needs to change the scenery, getting him to a different team, and maybe he'd flourish there. Most GMs don't want to make those trades because then you've got the situation where, well, what if he does really well and the guy that we bring in doesn't do really well? So it's not, then you look bad. So
Exactly.
But that was a rumor was DeBrusk, the Bruins wanting to move him. Now again, I'm relating this to Kane and saying, oh gosh, where can we get a top six guy? I'm not saying necessarily Jake DeBrusk is a top six guy, but it's a guy that maybe you could make some moves. We're talking about three-way trades,
Right.
Possibly being the case. I was bringing this up. He didn't believe me. Pierre LeBrun agreed with me. He said, Paul Sunseri of the Fin Factor, you are correct. Those were his words.
That's exactly what he wrote.
Pierre, if you're listening, can you
doubt
say
it.
that really quick so I can quote it?
Should I play the end of the show now?
Yeah.
That's it. It was kind of cool seeing Pierre kind of say, yeah, there's a three-way trade possibility there.
I like what Ryan Sontag said. I have a Kane jersey, and I do not want him back on this team.
I'm not saying he's coming back.
I know.
And I don't think that he is. And anybody who thinks he is coming back, I regret to inform you this. That's probably the lowest probability scenario here.
Anthony Sanchez just said Jake DeBurst equals overrated.
Oh.
That's probably why Boston wants to move him on. Boston's going to be like, we need to get rid of this guy. He's a bum. But he's really good.
Yeah.
You guys really want him, right?
Yeah, you know who else moved a guy who they didn't need? Toronto. And you love Barabanov.
Yeah, that's a little different than
It's a
the
little
Brust,
different.
like the level, but yes, absolutely.
It's a little different, but it's a little similar.
If I were to tell you
Okay.
today, let's reverse that trade.
Yeah.
And the Sharks wanted to trade Antti Suomela for Barabanov. Or would Toronto want to trade Antti Suomela for Barabanov back? Would you do it? Absolutely not. Absolutely.
That's not fair. Sumel's not in the NHL.
Exactly. That's my point. That's my point. I think that's an underrated trade, I think, that Doug Wilson did, along with the one to get Jonathan Dahlin. Now, that one took a couple years because he wasn't in the lineup right away. But I think those two are looking pretty good.
100%, and I think you're right. There's so many times where you get the hashtag Fire Doug Wilson train going on Twitter, but then, maybe some of the smaller trades that kind of just go by the wayside. That was a big trade for this team.
Right.
Bringing in some pretty solid offense. He's a top six guy on this roster.
Yeah.
Bringing in some pretty solid offense for a guy who's no longer in the NHL. I mean, come on, give credit where credit is due.
Absolutely.
So.
He got a top six guy for a guy who's probably a, fifth line player.
Yeah.
He's just not
Yeah.
in the lineup.
Yeah.
At best, he's probably in the press box and there for an injury or sickness or something.
And it's my fault that we're even talking about this right now because I derailed the whole Kane conversation with Jake DeBrusk. But I mean, again, I'm kind of tired of talking about Kane, to be honest.
Well,
it's the same
there's a
stuff.
couple
But let's finish it
So
off. Go
Lundy
ahead.
said Kane for Kessel.
It'll never happen.
I would be for that.
I would be for it. It won't happen. You think that?
I just don't think so. The thing with Kane is he has a 3-team trade, no movement clause, right? So that means he could submit 3 teams that the Sharks can make a trade with without his consent to move,
Right.
and anyone else, if they make a trade with anybody else, he can deny. I mean, it doesn't mean they can't do the trade, but Kane gets the last word if it could happen or not.
You know what? And
I
here's the
highly
thing.
doubt he would go to Arizona.
He'll go anywhere.
I don't know.
He'll go anywhere he can play in the NHL. He will go anywhere that he can play in the NHL.
Okay.
I 100%
I don't
believe
think
that.
anybody wants to go to Arizona.
I don't care.
Man, that's the place where contracts go to die.
Fine.
Just-
Wonderful.
Just take our stuff. They had so many trades this last summer.
Yeah.
Where they gave nothing in return. Nothing. We'll take your bad contract / player with some draft picks and for a literal bag of pucks. Here. Not even a bag of pucks. Nothing.
However, he's still playing against NHL caliber teams, NHL caliber talent, and it shows what he can do against those NHL caliber teams. Not what he can do against AHL caliber teams.
Would you want him to go outside of the Pacific, or would you even care?
I don't care. I don't care
Because
where
Vancouver's
he goes.
another team that's like linked to him.
Yes, of course, because he's from Vancouver. I get that.
And speaking of Vancouver, I'll just mention this quickly.
sure.
They just fired their GM and coach, I think today. Bruce Boudreau was hired as the coach for the next 2 seasons. So it'll be interesting to see what Vancouver does. They're going to do some shakeups.
Yeah.
Because they are the bottom of the Pacific right now. They are awful. They are not putting their stuff together, and they have a decent roster. Like it's not the best,
Yeah.
but it's definitely not Arizona bad,
Yeah.
and Arizona's better than them in the standings. So that they're not where they should be in the standings. So maybe something happens now.
Yeah.
Now that that Vancouver just switched their whole management leadership group, kind of. Who knows? Anyway,
I think it would have to be a 3-way trade because you're still in the Pacific.
right.
They're not going to want to give the Sharks anything to work with if they pick up Kane. They're not going to want to do that. So you're looking at the possibility of another 3-way trade. This going to Vancouver.
Right.
So I'm just going to keep patting myself on the back. Just, hey man, I'm tired of being right. Are you guys tired of being right? Okay.
I'm tired of Paul bragging about being right.
Well, you know what? Let's do this. Roll call. Let's do a roll call right
Sure,
now.
let's do
Okay. Where are you guys watching from, and are you tired of Paul being right? Because it happens.
There's a unanimous yes in here. It's just scrolling through. You can't see it. He doesn't see this. It's just yes, 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 yes. It's like kind of embarrassing for you. I'm sorry.
Tired of me being right.
There
Yes, I am
was
tired.
a nice comment about
Yes.
the new water bottle. You want to get
you
a
go.
closer look at that?
Fire away.
This is very nice.
It's-
This is one of our new products in the store, and it's pretty nice. We just got it I just got it this week, so
Looks like a large Old Spice bottle.
yeah, kind of does. Here's the lid. There's a little tape
Nice.
of lid on it.
I like that.
I can't whistle that.
I'm going to shout out actually our friends at What Up Silicon Valley and Eat Up
Yeah.
Silicon Valley. Sam and
Sam and Sergio.
Sergio, thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, sorry, Sergio. This is their little Swagworks thing, and they gave us this one here when we went on their podcast and everything. So they gave us this one. Frankly, I think our bottle looks maybe a little bit nicer.
Wah, wah.
Wow, just throwing it out there.
All right.
Anyway,
All right, let's get into the games.
yeah,
of the week.
let's talk about the games. And I don't even want to go into each individual game necessarily. If you do, start now because otherwise it's going to be more of a just kind of an overview.
Anthony Sanchez says the Kane situation reminds me of the Mark Bell situation from 12 years ago. Do you remember that?
I do not. You're going to have to remind me on that one.
Mark Bell came from Toronto. The Sharks traded for him in the offseason.
Okay.
And he was an up-and-coming power forward that they wanted to get to play alongside Joe Thornton when they just got Joe Thornton. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, this guy's going to just absolutely destroy it because he's got Joe Thornton. He finally has like a front line or first line center,
Right.
an elite center to pass him the puck. and he's just going to bury it. And in the summer, he got a DUI in San Jose, I believe, or Milpitas or somewhere around here. And I think it was like a hit and run DUI or something.
Wow.
I think he got some jail time, but he was fine. Then he had to work through it and all that. It just derailed his career completely, which is stupid. It's stupid on his part, right? But similar situation, they wanted to trade him. They brought him back, not brought him back, but he eventually made it to the NHL and played, and just wasn't the same type of player that he used to be. It just completely messed him up. So they ended up trading him. I forgot where they traded him eventually, but he was basically a piece of a trade down the line. It was kind of sad to see. Ryan Sontag, thanks for the $5. Aaron, start being righter than Paul, and you won't have anything to worry about.
Righter?
Yeah, righter than Paul, and you won't have anything to worry about. 2 misspellings in there.
Oh.
I know.
Well, maybe you
Thanks.
do want to have anything to worry about. Maybe that's what he's saying.
It's not like I'm never right.
Do you want something to worry about?
What?
You want something to worry about. Maybe he didn't mistype that.
Oh, shut it.
Maybe that wasn't a typo.
All right. Anyway,
Thanks,
Mark Bell.
Ryan. Appreciate you,
sorry.
buddy.
Mark Bell came from Chicago, not Toronto. Thank you, Anthony. He got traded to Toronto, I believe. Maybe that's why I messed that up. But, yeah. And someone had a comment. Let's bring it up about your mustache. It is now gone.
Yes, I heard it went from a caterpillar and it evolved
Turned into a butterfly and flew away.
Yeah. There you go.
No more Mario time.
It felt so good to shave that off, by the way. Real quick, I do want to say thank you so much to everybody who did contribute to that. As disappointed as I was with my co-host here for ending halfway through, credit where credit is due. He did drum up quite a bit of donations there. I was only able to garner about, half of the goal. And you exceeded the goal, which is great. But it's not always about money. I'm trying to just raise the awareness here, and I'm glad I was able to kind of go for the entire time. And hopefully, even if it didn't show up as a $sign, as a donation, able to help you guys out and get you to go to see your doctors and get yourselves checked out and everything. So again, for that entire month worth of pain that I endured and the half month that he endured, again, thank you for that. I'm going to keep saying that you only did half.
Whatever.
I'm just going to keep bringing it up anyway. So, again, thank you so much for that.
Yes, thank you.
Mine's a 100% thank you. His is a 50% thank you.
Good Lord. All right, here we go.
So the three-way trade. I did want to bring up about the three-way trade as long as we're talking about how I'm right. Pierre LeBrun, and I have it on my phone here. One proposed, this is from Pierre's article on The Athletic. If you're not checking out The Athletic, you should be. They constantly run sales. Check out when they have a sale.
I think they're having a sale right now for holidays.
They might be, actually. Yeah, I think you're right. So check them out. It's definitely worth the cup of coffee that it would cost you to just subscribe to them anyway. So check them out. Pierre says, one proposed idea is whether this becomes a 3-team transaction in order to chop down Kane's AAV, not once but twice for the acquiring team. We saw a few of these 3-team trades last season for cap reasons. You brought up an interesting fact, and I'll get to the rest of this bit in just a second here, but you brought up a fact about the Sharks being involved in a couple of those. Mm-hmm. So think about what you want to say there. I'm going to finish reading this off, and then we'll get to that. He says, or he continues, so for example, the Sharks agree to eat half the salary, making Kane a $3.5 million player, but then a middle team chops it in half again, and he gets dealt from San Jose after he gets dealt from San Jose, making Kane a $1.75 million player for his final destination team. That's what we meant by a 3-way trade. Not that 3 different teams would be making one trade, but he would be hopping from one team and then hopping to the next team, cutting down his salary in half, because that is the most that can be retained in any one trade. Mm-hmm. So when you do that, you can cut in half again.
Yeah, apparently you can only do it twice.
Oh, really?
Know that, yeah.
Did not know that. That's very interesting.
That's why you only see it with 3 teams and not like 4, 5, 6, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was going to say is the Sharks were involved in 2 of these last season, and they were the middle person in both. So one of them was Columbus sent eventually to Toronto, Nick Foligno, and the Sharks retained half of that salary and also got a 4th-round pick from Toronto out of it, and that turned into Ethan Cardwell, who was picked this last summer. And then the other trade was from Chicago to Vegas when they traded Matthias Janmark. Matthias, sorry. The Sharks got a 5th-round pick and sent off Nick DeSimone along with Janmark to the Golden Knights. So they retained salary and got 2 draft picks out of it, and that ended up being it's actually a 5th round for this upcoming draft.
So they retained the salary, they got draft picks out of it, and they also dumped 2 contracts.
Yep.
So again, this is stuff where it's subtle, but it adds up. Good moves.
You're taking on like what I said last week is the Sharks have an asset in cap space, and they're using it in this situation last year. So they got 2 picks out of it and got rid of 2 contracts.
2 contracts they probably didn't want anymore, right? So I mean, again, it's addition by subtraction.
Yep.
And I think little trades like this kind of go by the wayside because it's not got a nice, sexy name attached to it like an Erik Karlsson, right? So little things like this, it's not always the big trades that make the GM the superstar, right? It's little things like this that add up over time. So very happy with those trades as well. There you go.
Yep. Anyway, all right, let's get on with it.
Yeah.
All right.
God, we haven't played that one in a long time.
Games of the week.
Games of the week.
Let's talk about there was a comment earlier about Reimer. Who's the starter? Is it Reimer or is it Hill?
Yeah.
Reimer, I think, would have started tonight, but he's sick. So they ended up going with Hill.
And the night before.
Right.
Yeah.
So Hill got the back-to-back here. I thought he played well against New York. He just got 1 goal, and it was the only goal of the game against him. Yeah. Actually, it wasn't last night. It was 2 nights ago.
Yeah, 2 nights ago.
But anyway, Reimer would have been back in net, but he's been feeling sick. So he was well enough, I guess, to be the backup. But that's why, like tonight, I think the Sharks, if Reimer was healthy and Hill had the start, they would have pulled him and put in Reimer. In fact, after the game, there was a quote from Bugner saying, like, we need that save from the goalie. So he didn't throw him under the bus, but he expects more of his goaltending. I think Hill would also agree that he did not play very well tonight.
He didn't do very well tonight. There was a goal that falls under the soft goal category for Paul. Yeah, how about that?
There.
Yeah, I know.
Please.
Pretty amazing.
Do explain.
So
which one?
2-on-1. Somebody laid down. I think it was I can't remember who it was that laid down.
Of course, it was Burns.
No, there was one where Burns laid down. Poor Mario Ferraro, dude. I love the guy, and he works hard, and he's got a great ethic, and he's just a skilled hockey player. But he had a rough one, I think, tonight. He tried to get the puck off the boards, but he fumbled it, and it goes out of the zone. They're sprinting out. Burnsy gets back for a 2-on-1. Does the Burnsy, the human Zamboni. And, of course, whoever had the puck did exactly what you should do when the defender leaves his feet. No, just stop skating. Let Burnsy go, woo! It's funny because they have a camera angle in slow motion, and you don't see Burns on the screen, right? And you see the guy is stick handling, he slows up, and all you see is Burns skates, his legs, body, head, and he just slides off the screen. It's like, yep, that's what you get. And here comes Mario Ferraro. Right in after Burns slides, Mario gets down on a knee, drops the stick down. The pass goes across, but it deflects off the stick and goes in. And same thing, I think, he laid down too. Mario Ferraro laid down on another play, and they just shot it over and scored, no problem. But it was one where Hill was there, he was set, and they fired it, and it just went underneath his right-hand side.
Yeah.
And there was another one where it went over his glove. He was there, he had the glove there, and he drops down, his glove drops down, and then the shot goes up, and then he puts his glove back up, and it's too late. Instead of when he's dropping down, keeping everything where it's supposed to be. But, he had 1 or 2 that I would consider, he was set, he was looking right at it, the shot came right to him, nothing crazy, nothing fancy, and he could have saved it and just didn't. To me, there you go, that's a little soft. So
he didn't have a great game. He was hung out to dry on a few of those. There was a lot of 2-on-1s, but still, he didn't seem to have his feet set and ready. He was just like a split second too late to get ready for it. And it showed, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. So in terms of the question of whether or not Reimer is the starter, I think Reimer still is a starter. Again, like Aaron said, he was just a little under the weather for the past couple of days. And it's funny because the Sharks, they'll win or lose any which way you like, right? You've got a game where they win 5-2, right? Was it New Jersey, I think? They won 5-2. So you score a ton of goals and not let many in, and there's a win. Okay, then you can win a game where you only score like a goal in regulation, and then you go in overtime and you win, right? And it's a low-scoring game, 2-1. Then you can lose it by not scoring at all, right? And only allowing. You played great defensively, only allowed 1 goal, but you don't score. But then you can also lose by just getting blown out 6-4. I mean, granted there was only 5 goals, there was an empty netter, but I mean they'll win or lose any which way you like. And you mentioned you can't figure out what kind of team this is anymore.
Yeah, I tweeted that out the other day, and it had like almost 120 likes. I was like, wow, that thing blew up for some reason. All I said was, I can't figure this team out anymore, but I'm really happy about Barabanov. I think it was right after Barabanov had scored or done something. And it's true. Like, this team is are they I guess they're where I thought they were going to be, right in that bubble.
Yeah.
Like, are they a playoff team? Or are they not a playoff team? Because they are some days, and then they aren't some days.
However, and again, I hate being right. But didn't I say they're going to come back, they're going to stay above 500 after they win 2 games? Now, I got the games incorrect. I got 1 out of 2 of the games correct.
Right. So they won 2 out of the 4.
They did.
Right? And I said they would win 1 out of 4?
You said 1.
Did I say 1?
You said 1
I
out of 4.
probably did. I'm not going to say I didn't.
I said 2 out of 4. So, very happy. They're above 500. I said after this week they'll still be above 500. And guess what? They're done with road games for December.
That's what's amazing.
It is, because it's December 5th right now.
I put the note on there that the rest of this month is going to make or break their season, I think.
Okay.
They have 10 games? There's 10 games between now and the end of December. Mm-hmm. 7 of them are against their division. They've only played 1 division game against Calgary, I think. Everything else has been out of the division, which is insane to be in December and still not played more than 1 game.
And this early in the season, now again, we always talk about Thanksgiving and that kind of being like the idea of where this team kind of ought to be. Mm-hmm. For me, maybe I would say it's a little too early to kind of say if it's make or break, but I think you're right in this case because, like you said, 7 out of 10 is divisional. That's huge. So, yeah, I mean, keep your eyes on the Sharks for the rest of this month. And, I guess we say it now. If you aren't subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so that you know when we're going live. We love chatting with you guys. There it is down there. We love chatting with you guys, and any chance that we get to do these lives when we're chatting with you and answering questions. And you guys bring up some good things to talk about sometimes. So it's just a lot of fun being able to kind of go over those things with you. So if you're not subscribed, please, again, go ahead and do that now because this month is going to get very interesting, I think.
Absolutely.
I mean, not just where the Sharks are going to be in standings, but hopefully there's a conclusion to this whole Kane thing.
Right, yeah, that's
right?
big.
This is going to be a big month.
Yeah.
In terms of news, in terms of Sharks, in terms of standings, in terms of all those different things. I think it's going to be a big month.
Knowing the Sharks, they're going to be exactly where they are right now at the end of the month. Nothing's going to change because this team is just an interesting team. I don't know what else to say.
I have a feeling that we're not going to be middle of the Pacific after this month is done. Either we're going to lose more games than we should and we're going to be under because of the 4-point swing, or we're going to win some games and we'll be above. I don't think we're going to end up right in the middle. That's my bold prediction. We're going to be one way or the other. So.
All right, because Vegas is on their heels right now.
Yeah.
Vegas has 2 games in hand and only 1 point behind the Sharks.
Is Vegas healthy now?
They're getting healthy. I think Pacioretty is back and Stone is back, but obviously they don't have Eichel. He's going to be out for a while.
Well, right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think those guys are both back now. So they are looking like what everyone thought they were going to be in the beginning of the season, dominating the division, which they are not. They're in 5th right now, which is crazy. Calgary's in 1st, which I think is a slight surprise.
Okay.
Edmonton. Anaheim is 3rd. I think that's going to fall down.
This is where we give Aaron the opportunity to make bold predictions and pat himself on the back in a month or two.
All right.
I love doing this because you tend to get this bang on, and this is what I love about having Aaron here with me at the table is because he's much more in tune with the rest of the teams in the NHL as well, mostly I think due to fantasy. But I think... What?
I just watch a lot of hockey, but yeah.
Well, okay, sure. There you go. Well, you think you watch a lot of hockey because of fantasy. Right. Whatever, anyway. Probably right about that, too. What's up? So, anyway, what do you think? Do you think that some of these teams that are at the top of the division are not unnecessarily, but do you think that they're pretenders? Right? We had this whole contenders pretenders thing that
was
we
a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I think Calgary's legit. I think Calgary, Edmonton, and Vegas are legit.
Okay.
Anaheim, I don't. Anaheim is a good team. They have a very good mix of very good young talent that's not quite all-star players yet, but a few of them probably will be. And then they have the aging stars like Getzlaf, who's been there forever. He's a dinosaur. So it's kind of like the Sharks were, I would say, a couple years ago when they made it to the conference finals, because they had Thornton, they had was Marlowe? Marlowe was on the team, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Or was he gone? God, I can't even remember.
Pavelski.
Anyway, they had Pavelski. They had those aging guys, and they had Timo Meyer, who was still at that time pretty young. LeBanc was up and coming.
Yeah.
Not that LeBanc's an all-star, but Timo Meyer is starting to look like the player that he
This
was drafted to be. But anyway, Anaheim is kind of like in that situation where I think they're going to be good, kind of like how Colorado was a few years ago. Colorado was kind of that same situation. And then the Sharks beat them in the second round that year. Kind of like that's where Anaheim and also where LA is going. A lot of people like LA, and LA's been playing well. Drew Doughty was hurt for like a month, so that hurt them because he's practically their only defender. He's playing like 28, 29 minutes a night. So losing him hurt them, I think, because they kind of got up to a big jump, and then they've fallen down. Jonathan Quick's been playing like old Jonathan Quick.
Okay.
So that's why they're right behind the Sharks right now too. They're right behind Vegas. But I think Anaheim's going to falter. I think Gibson's going to get hurt at some point. He's going to get hurt. He's going to miss time.
Any predictions on the exact game when he'll be?
Hopefully right before the Sharks play him. But anyway, I think Anaheim will come down. I think Vegas will jump up, and I think the Sharks will kind of stay. I think it's going to be the California teams, Anaheim, San Jose, and LA for that fourth
bubble.
Yeah, the bubble spot. It's going to be brutal. I think Seattle and Vancouver are going to be stuck at the bottom. The two, was that Kraken and whales, the bottom of the ocean, Vancouver.
Oh, no, it was the sea creatures, or where they belong at the bottom of the Pacific, or something like that. That was really cute.
The Sharks.
Yeah, it was Vancouver, Seattle. The Sharks were there, and you're saying the sea creatures are at the bottom of where they belong, the bottom of the Pacific. Like that's
so.
It's clever. I'll give it to you. It's clever.
Very
Whoever
clever.
did that, well done. But yeah, moving on.
Right.
All right. Any other comments that you want to bring up? Because we kind of been.
No, I think
stuff, so.
Again, this month is going to be, to me, it's going to be the make or break month. That at the end of December, we'll see where the Sharks are and kind of where the rest of the Pacific are. It'll be more settled in.
Yeah.
A lot of these teams haven't played each other, so
that's strange, isn't it?
It's really weird how they did the scheduling this year.
Yeah.
That's not normal. Because for those that don't quite follow or that big a fan, like they play each division opponent 4 times in the season, home and away twice. So it's very odd that we're in December and the Sharks have played 1 game against Calgary, and that's it.
Right. Well, and they're done with their series against the Jets. They've played
Yeah,
as
a
many
lot
games
of
as they're
teams.
going to play against
A lot
the
of
Jets.
the East Coast teams too. Like the East Coast teams already came through here,
Right.
and they've already gone through there, so they're done. They got those done early.
Yeah.
So I think the latter half of this season is going to be very interesting. Every game is going to be. I mean, it's great. Actually, the scheduling that's probably better because it's more dramatic. I think.
Yeah,
towards the end of the season.
That's probably why they do it that way. But
Yeah.
it's just really strange that you've played teams that are in East Coast, and you've played them as many times as you're going to play them already, and it's only December. And there's some teams that you've barely played or not even played in your own division, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird. So anyway, like I said, if you're not subscribed, please do that, because we'll be talking about this at least until the end of the month or until the end of the season, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So we're done talking about the stuff that had already happened here in this past week. Then
Sure.
we're good. All right. Let's talk about the games that are coming up. Then we got 3 games.
3 games.
We
Tuesday,
seem to be
Thursday, Saturday.
I was gonna say Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday seems to be like the default Shark schedule.
That's the normal home schedule, at least. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So on Tuesday, let me check the schedule here. We play Calgary. Now you just got done saying Calgary's the real deal.
And the Sharks, if you remember, beat Calgary in Calgary. That was a tough game. Let me look. Calgary only has 4 losses on the season. One of those is from the Sharks. So that's going to be an interesting game. I think they're going to definitely remember that one of their 4 losses came from the Sharks, so they're going to come out hard. They're a very hard-hitting team, and we saw in that game, basically the Sharks kind of sustained their rough and tumbleness for the first 2 periods, and the 3rd period came out and buried them. So hopefully Reimer is back, because I think Hill needs to take a little bit of a break here. So hopefully he's healthy and ready to play. That would be a big jump. I mean, that would put the Sharks within 6 points of Calgary if they win.
Yeah.
And, what is it, 9 points or 8 points if they're not. So, or is it the other way?
Well, like you said, I mean, these are divisional opponents. These are big points.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, 4-point swings.
Sorry, 10 points. Either 6 points away or 10 points away.
Yeah.
Depending on a win or a loss. So that's a big deal. You can see them sinking or swimming really quick. Yeah, that's going to be a fun game. I'm actually going to be at that game.
Oh, nice.
I'm going with a bunch of people from work. So I might be the only like real diehard fan in my office that's going. So it'll be interesting because I'll be like, I'm trying to talk with people, but also like watching intently.
Yeah, totally.
Trying to contain my emotions. Anyway, so yeah, and then Thursday is Minnesota. So I'm sure Lundy's got something to say about that one. Lundy's in here tonight. So Lundy, what's your prediction? Just let us know. I'm sure it'll be like 8-1 with, I don't know.
He always says the Sharks will beat Minnesota, though.
Right.
He's
usually right.
That's his prediction every
Right.
time. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
True. So
And then Saturday, Dallas.
yeah,
The return of Pavelski.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a big game.
I think so.
Are you going?
I will not be going to any of these,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I think the next game I might go to is probably the Pride game.
Which is the following week, the following Tuesday.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
Far away.
the link is down below if you want to buy tickets. There are only, was it Jay, 20?
Yeah.
20 tickets left of the 200 for the Pride game. If you want to get a Pride scarf and sit and then also get a picture on center ice afterwards. There's also something beforehand at San Pedro
No.
Market. Huh?
Early entry and Pride celebration.
Early entry and Pride celebration. So there's a lot going on for that game, and there's only 20 tickets left. So if you want to do it, do it. We all three are going to be there.
Yeah. We
bought tickets, so we will all be there. We will see you there.
So not only do you get a picture at center ice, you get a picture at center ice that features us. So, just saying.
I don't know if Paul's head's going to fit in that picture though.
Can you shower that day?
I absolutely will. That day, I'll. Anyway,
Lundy said 4-1 Sharks win over the Wild.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah.
All right, hey Lundy, you got to remember that you said 4-1 though, okay? Because if they come back and it's a 4-1 win, I'll be very impressed.
Right. Absolutely.
Very impressed.
All right, and then the Dallas game's on that following Saturday.
Yep.
So
Next time we'll be going live, but it won't be right after a game, unfortunately.
we'll be live Sunday night.
Yeah.
As far as I know, right? Sunday night.
Why wouldn't we?
I know,
I don't know.
exactly.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
That's our normal time slot.
Yeah. So like tonight was right after a game, not right after, but I was after a game. It was a game day, but it's still going to stay on Sundays. So
Right.
yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. So that's all the upcoming games here. Again, 7 out of the next 10 divisional opponents. Very big stuff for the Sharks. I'm with you. Like I said, I think this is very much close to make or break for the Sharks here the rest of this month. So it's going to be very interesting to see where it goes. Hopefully, the next time we talk about Kane, it'll be because something has happened, and then that's it. There's no more speculation, no more what ifs, no more drawing up scenarios. It could be a 3-way trade. It could be he stays in the AHL forever. It could be. Hopefully, we have something concrete that we can kind of talk about for its finality, if you will. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be happy.
Okay. Anything else comment-wise? We good to go or?
Lundy
pretty
just said,
short
I
show.
always believe Sharks will beat the Wild. Yep. I think so.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's the comment?
There's a lot of people talking about the lines and... Yeah,
Anything interesting about the lines or?
Anthony said the Kings and Ducks are pretenders, which is I think what I said. Myers a designated shooter on that line, which is who I thought Gregor was going to be for the second line.
Can we actually talk real quick? Noah Gregor. Noah Gregor's been doing phenomenal. Just really fast. He's been doing a phenomenal job stepping in and playing quite well.
He's got good speed.
Speed.
Yeah.
Yes, speed. I think that was one of the things that they had brought up about him. Every time they talk about this guy, he brings a good amount of speed. They likened something that he did today to Connor McDavid, and I think that might be a little bit too much of a comparison.
He can skate fast. Who else can skate fast?
Yeah.
Connor
No, but
McDavid.
it was the move that he made. It was the going under the stick and stepping past, that kind of thing. They had likened it to Connor McDavid, and I think that's a little generous of a comparison for Noah Gregor. But I think this kind of goes back to something that you've certainly said many times, is that all of these players in the NHL are certainly similarly skilled. It's just that some of them can do it a lot more consistently than others. Noah Gregor is certainly capable of using his speed, getting underneath the stick, walking around defenders. But he's not going to do that every single time, and it's not going to work every single time. Maybe 1 out of 10, and we saw it tonight. But it's one of those things where you see that everybody in this league does have a pretty solid skill level. It's just the consistency that makes them good or bad.
Mike L. I'm always comparing McDavid to Gregor. And Anthony said Gregor needs to work on his finish. If not, it'll be another version of Torrey Mitchell. Absolutely.
Okay.
I wholeheartedly agree. Same with Matt Nieto was another kind of Torrey Mitchell.
Speedy, hardworking guy that just couldn't finish it off.
Yep. That's
Turned
where
out
he'll
to be
end
pretty
up.
good defensively.
Go to the AHL and he lights it up, but then he gets to the NHL and just can't quite finish. It'll be sad to see because I like the guy. I mean, it'd be cool to see him succeed and be a 20-goal scorer. I think would be amazing for Gregor.
I think even 10 or 15 is a pretty solid start.
Like ceiling. Like,
oh,
I don't think he would get beyond that. But Gregor put someone on the boards and got a game misconduct. That's what Kellen said. Oh. That happened tonight?
I must have fallen asleep through that. I was tired today.
Yep. Anyway. All right.
We good?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Man, I felt like a short show.
Yeah.
45 minutes or so?
48.
Yeah. 48 minutes. Super producer Jason is on it right now.
Short.
48,
We're under an hour, so it's short. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that's the end of the show. So hey, again, thank you. What is this? Are you guys seeing it? Okay. I think he did it on purpose. All right, do you see it on your side?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, hey, again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love having these conversations with you. Again, one of the greatest things you can do apart from subscribing is to share the video. So if you enjoyed this and you want to hit us with a thumbs up, awesome, thank you, we appreciate it. But please feel free to share this with your friends, family, other Sharks fans. Get the word out that we are back, we are here. We've had some subscriptions jumping up in the last week or two, so it's working. Thank you guys. We appreciate that. Help other Sharks fans realize the show and come and participate with us, because it's not just us talking, it's you guys participating as well. That's what makes this show so much fun, I think. So thank you again for that. Any last final words here? You good?
No,
all right.
Ready to go.
So for super producer Jason, I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And we will see you guys
next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive merchandise to help support our show.